Morning, folks. Father Clayton here. We're celebrating the memorial of Saint Teresa of Calcutta. I am a huge fan of Saint Teresa ever since I was a young man learning about her life in grade school. I actually discerned religious life for quite a few years, and between the Dominicans and the Missionaries of Charity, those were my two choices. Those were my top two orders that I was curious to discern. And I discerned the diocesan priesthood, but the mission of St. Teresa of Calcutta always resonates with my heart. I've been to India twice and went to Calcutta, and I even went to their house in Calcutta and stayed there and served the poor there. I also was with the Missionaries of Charity in Ethiopia in 2010, so 15 years ago, and I spent the whole summer there between my years in seminary, and it was profound. The life and the mission of the missionaries to serve the poorest of the poor. They seek out the most destitute and the poorest. And they get radical about it. Their philosophy, but also their manner of prayer and servitude in the poorest areas of the world, from the Congo to all throughout Africa and India, but also other places as well, even in the United States. I once gave a retreat in 2017, April 2017, I believe, in Memphis, where I went and gave a retreat for all the Mother Superiors from all the Mother Houses in the United States. So there was about, I don't know, at least 25 plus. That was over a couple dozen, and it was it was their canonical retreat, and it was a long story. But the person that was going to give them a retreat, he couldn't do it. I gave my number to a Mother Superior in Calcutta the 2 years prior, November of 2016. Sorry, and somehow it got to them in the United States, and they called me up and they asked me if I'd do the retreat. They didn't have any, so it all worked out. But it was a profound, it was providence. And I got to serve and to help the mothers through confession and mass, and then we had kind of some prayer times, and we had a message, and it was really humbling for me, because these were spiritual warrior nuns, Mother Superiors, who I was, I was a young priest giving them a retreat. I learned probably more from the experience than they did, I'm sure. But Mother Teresa is just one of my heroes. You don't have to ever worry about money. She would always say, don't worry about money. God has lots of money. And if there was a need, she would never, ever faint. She would always trust the will of God. And I love one of her sayings. When I went to her mother house and I went to her room and I got to pray there, it was very moving. She had a deep devotion to Saint Teresa of Lisieux, as many do, the little flower, and she had a picture of him. And in there was a line that said, do God's will and then get out of the way. Something to that effect. That we all should be saying yes to God. That should always be in our hearts and minds. And if we get anxious about it, then that says something. Mother Teresa was a profound giant, very tiny woman, tiny virgin nun, started her own order, left home, she never came back. But she wound up changing the world and was a giant of a figure. And she also would speak about the evils of abortion. She once did a huge talk when she came to the United States and told everyone in the world that abortion leads to the destruction of a country, the immorality of it. And convenience and choice to some is something of a right to some, and to others, we believe it's, an immoral act and choice. Mother Teresa had the courage to speak to the world and say, stop. If you wanted to destroy your nation, the death of nations, the destruction of nations begins with abortion. So choose life, and choose what Mother Teresa followed the little way of the little flower in her in the simplest sense. She was very simple and humble, and a great model to follow. So we celebrate her today. Saint Teresa of Calcutta, pray for us.